Ah, the peaceful transfer of power. The crown jewel on our crownless democratic republic. The tradition that defines our shining city on a... As our government attempts to hand off the reins of power to the incoming Biden administration, Americans are finally coming face to face with the consequences of what happens when those reins of power are given to someone who, aside from a couple of wives, has never let anything go in his life. Even Miss Universe has a better understanding of the transfer of power than the guy who owned the Miss Universe pageant. I never understood why they passed the tiara. She won last time. She should win again. She's still hot. I'm still hot. On the plus side, we finally now know that the time period Trumpers are referring to when they say "Make America Great Again" is 1860, which begs the question, will there be storming of the Capitol reenactments in the future? And who gets to play the guy with the horns? I want to be Elizabeth the Onion Girl. We are storming the Capitol! It's a revolution! Now Democrats will have to govern over a divided country, split between armed anti-government, anti-science conspiracy theorists radicalized by Facebook and people who can breathe through their nose. So what's the way forward? I'm Francesca Fiorentini, and though Biden claims he wants to be FDR, he'll also have to be Abraham Lincoln and not negotiate with insurrectionists. Joe Biden is assuming the presidency, and Donald Trump has once again been impeached. At least that's where things stood as of this recording. Everything is moving so fast, we've pre-recorded all kinds of headlines just to cover our bases. Donald Trump has pardoned himself, and Martin Shkreli for some reason. Donald Trump has swallowed the nuclear football. The president is barricading himself in the Oval Office and using Melania as a human shield. MAGA hordes have sacrificed Mike Pence to Q, who, turns out, is Queen Elizabeth? Our country is facing a tough few weeks, months, and years ahead. Not just because there's still a rampant virus ripping through it, but because after the attack on the Capitol, there's no doubt that Trumpism is as big of a threat. And while Biden has walked back his claim that Republicans would have an epiphany once Trump was defeated, it turns out he was right. They did have an epiphany, and that was to make a clean break from reality. While the last 4 years liberals have vacillated from outrage to normalization to podcasts with titles like, "Can he do that?" the right has been steadily poisoning the minds of its voters with outright lies about election fraud and given a green light to violence. Trumpism has spread like a zombie infection in the Republican Party, which is almost unfair to zombies because at least zombies value brains. And it's important not to minimize just how far the party has fallen, going from defending minority rule to defending mob rule. It's a short fall, like from the gutter to the sewer, but it's a fall nonetheless. Because we know that those who attacked the Capitol weren't just egged on by the president or his immediate goons, but orchestrated by an array of current Republican lawmakers and their underwriters who've willingly embraced the upside-down reality of MAGA to their political advantage. Like Ted Cruz, who hyped up the Stop the Steal movement as a second American revolution.
You were patriots, just like the patriots gathered at Bunker Hill, just like the patriots gathered at Valley Forge, just like the patriots who forged this nation. The men and women gathered here and across the state of Georgia are fighting for the United States of America.
Oh God, he's such an embarrassing tryhard. It feels like he's auditioning for America's Next Top MAGA. All right, work the smize, work the lies, go. Sedition, 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 sedition. Okay. And there's an ongoing investigation as to the degree of GOP orchestration of the insurrection, but what we know for sure is that Representative Mary Miller spoke at the rally and reminded attendees that Hitler was right, cool, 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 and that former West Virginia House member Derek Evans was part of the mob himself because he live streamed it.
Trump! Woo! They're in.
Ugh! Even not in a pandemic, that's not cool, bro. Cover your mouth when you coo. Mama always said. The plan for the January 6th Stop the Steal rally was hatched from inside Congress with the help of powerful GOP dark money groups like the Tea Party Patriots, Turning Point Action, and the Rule of Law Defense Fund, which is chaired by the current Alabama Republican Attorney General. GOP lawmakers like this Pennsylvania state senator not only attended it, he spent thousands of dollars coordinating bus rides to D.C. But it appears as if 3 Republican congresspeople of the far-right, ironically named Freedom Caucus, along with the MAGA celebrity Ali Alexander, were the most directly involved in the planning. Just listen to Ali brag about it.
Because I was the person who came up with the January 6th idea with Congressman Gosar, Congressman Mo Brooks, and then Congressman Andy Biggs. We 4 schemed up of putting maximum pressure on Congress while they were voting.
I just love that 3 congresspeople decided to stage an insurrection with a meme lord who looks like he called in a bomb threat to the prom he didn't have a date to. Representatives Mo Brooks of Alabama and Paul Gosar and Andy Biggs of Arizona all helped pull the event off, and they knew that there would be violence. In fact, they encouraged it. The Arizona Republican Party retweeted Ali professing that he was willing to give his life to the cause of stopping Joe Biden, adding, "He is, are you?" which is the extremist version of, "You up, bro?" Mo Brooks echoed a similar sentiment when he spoke at the rally itself.
Today is the day American patriots start taking down names and kicking ass.
God, who knew the Gordon Fish Sticks guy got super radicalized? The crossover between the Republican Party and white extremist organizations is so obvious. Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez says that she didn't feel safe sheltering from the mob with her fellow congresspeople.
Because there were QAnon and white supremacist sympathizers and frankly white supremacist members of Congress in that extraction point who would create opportunities to allow me to be hurt.
And if it sounds like AOC is being alarmist, Republican and Q-curious Representative Lauren Boebert did tweet out to her supporters, some of whom were in the building, that Nancy Pelosi had left the House floor, effectively alerting them to her movements. The entire Republican Party has been compromised, and the sooner Biden understands that, the better he can govern. Because what the militia groups and the boat dads tried to do that day was in effect what 67 Republicans also tried to do when they objected to the Electoral College vote. Shit on democracy.
I rise up for myself and 60 of my colleagues to object to the counting of the electoral ballots from Arizona.
Damn, Gosar was a bit nervous right there. And I guess he should have been, because he's stuck between obeying Democratic law and trying to please this.
Hang Mike Pence! Hang Mike Pence! Hang Mike Pence!
Hang Mike Pence? That's one of the most go-along loyalists Trump has ever had, who's lied for him repeatedly, being chanted down by the MAGA mob. And therein lies the problem of mob rule. No matter how loyal you are to it, it will one day come for you. Like another Trump enabler, Senator Lindsey Graham.
You are a traitor, Lindsey Graham! A traitor!
The right has fed the cult of Trumpism and has sicked it on so many Americans. Muslims, immigrants, workers, women, Black Lives Matter protesters, LGBTQ people, and now it's come for them. In November, it came for Fox News for reporting reality. In fact, the only 2 Republicans to openly denounce Trump lost their primary races in 2020. And yet, the pathology, the fringe anti-government, white supremacist, Christian nationalist, QAnon pathology goes even beyond Trump himself. This is Coy Griffin, a Republican county commissioner from New Mexico who was also part of the mob.
It's going to be a sad day because there's going to be blood running out of that building, but at the end of the day, you mark my word, we will plant our flag on the desk of Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer and Donald J. Trump if it boils down to it.
Wow. Also, how does that guy have a job that's not selling used cars? And how is that job funded by taxpayers? Yet still, GOP lawmakers are trying to wash their hands of responsibility, floating false equivalencies with progressive causes and calling impeachment and accountability one very particular thing.
This is more than about impeaching the President of the United States. This is about canceling the President and canceling all the people you guys disagree with.
And if we get rid of the cancel culture and the desire to delegitimize our president.
And I'm concerned that really the impeachment is a form of cancel culture.
They want him expelled. You have a book deal from Josh Hawley being canceled. That's part of the canceled culture. If you really want to bring unity and cool down the simmering embers that are burning right now, you don't pour more gas on the fire.
Yes, the best thing to do with fire is ignore it. You guys remember that lesson in elementary school? When you see a fire, close your eyes. Republicans love law and order, but when they break the law by inciting a riot and literally killing cops, then it's cancel culture. It's not cancel culture, it's accountability. And how are you more afraid of that than you are of white supremacists? But you know what? If that's their only boogeyman, who are we to take that from them? Let's cancel the Republican Party. We know who they are and the lengths they're willing to go to maintain power, so what should we do with them? Well, it turns out there's an entire cancel culture amendment to the Constitution, the 14th Amendment, which was written following the Civil War to ensure against this exact type of insurrection, stating, "No person shall be a senator or representative in Congress or elector of president and vice president or hold any office, civil or military, under the United States or under any state, who having previously taken an oath as a member of Congress or as an officer of the United States or as a member of any state legislature or as an executive or judicial officer of any state to support the Constitution of the United States shall have engaged in insurrection or rebellion against the same or given aid or comfort to the enemies thereof." Oh, looks like you're all canceled. The US Constitution is the ultimate receipt. By that standard, Representative Cori Bush, who introduced a bill to force the resignation of those who incited the mob, is right on. These lawmakers gotta go. The men and women in uniform who participated in the mob, they also gotta go. Unity is not possible when one side is smearing their own feces in the halls of Congress. That actually happened. We should have an amendment against that. There's no more meeting a bad faith political party driven by minority and mob rule in the middle, okay? There's no negotiating with insurrectionists. They belong in the history books. As Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez says,
and so I want to be clear to Senator Ted Cruz. You do not belong in the United States Senate. I want to be clear to Senator Josh Hawley. You do not belong in the United States Senate. Let me give you a sneak peek. You will never be president. You will never command the respect of this country.
Cancel Republicans. We don't need them. Thanks to organizers and voters in Georgia, the Senate will be split with a tie-breaking vote going to a woman whose name David Perdue will never mispronounce again. Democrats need to get to work, reversing Trump policies, stopping COVID, truly helping struggling Americans, and making sure that we root out white supremacist extremist violence, starting with their colleagues across the aisle. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. Make sure you're subscribed to AJ Plus to get Newsbroke episodes first in this very limited run this January. There's so much I didn't get to talk about in this episode, like just how racist the attackers were, or the role of the media in all this. My God, the media. Also, if you want more from me beyond Newsbroke, I have a podcast called The Bitchuation Room. And yes, you heard that right. See you next time.